this was a great introduction, and I'm lucky enough to pick up an important topic because in today's day and age, a lot depends on communication, scalability, and of course, we have to bundle the voices of the industry so we are heard, and that is very, very important, and that's why Prowindo is so important because when it comes to this initiative, we have very strong individual associations and they can connect everything. And that's why I'm very happy to be here and be able to introduce Prowindo. But I also don't want to hide that we are facing some big challenges. There are big answers to these challenges and how the value added chain can respond and should respond. And then also there are some insights in terms of what is happening in the future. So as I said, Prowindo. Prowindo is an alliance of associations, and I'm going to introduce them individually as well, who are in favor of vinyl windows. Vinyl windows have had a long history. It started in the mid-50s, a very strong and interesting story. And all the things that are possible and can be accomplished today are very fascinating. In order to communicate that and also show the challenges around all of that and the complexity of the topic, you need a platform in order to take politics on this journey and show them what it's all about. So specifically, this exchange of experience that can be realized with that sort of then gives wind to the positive basis to further develop this product in the future and have it be as proficient as possible. So I'm very happy to show you all the participants of the individual associations. And Mr. Witzmann already said it when he introduced me. So Vinyl Plus, this is not in alphabetical order. That is number one. That is because of the history of AGPU. So that's what we stuck with. And Mr. Hülsmann for Vinyl Plus. And this is a very important step. And
very important
yeah, this
step.
is just
I'm going to
about the
introduce the
individual
activities in
associations
just
and
a minute.
everything. So Charlotte for EPPA as well. And in Europe, there are a lot of different things that are being decided, especially in Brussels, and politicians actually have different rules that were set and they have a big impact on the national developments. And of course, they are making sure that they don't do anything stupid with the Olsen for Pro-K. And again, it's very important. You can also see the plethora of what is happening here is the whole topic of consumer products. Of course, there are lots of different products that are included here. Mr. Feigenbutz for QKE, and he already showed us what his focus was, and it's very important to really talk about this as well, because this really shows the quality of today and how it needs to be ensured, and that's the basis for the business of tomorrow. And then we have Mr. Vetter. Every best product is going to reach its life cycle at one point, and then it's going to have to come back. And Prowindo does exactly that and make sure that it comes back. And of course, you also need independent instruments that are going to help us be believable and highly professional and be certified and audited from a third party, making sure that whatever we set as a goal for ourselves is going to be documented. Because there's one thing we sure during our whole history, we've never dealt with consumers that know so much as we did today. And that's why institutes like SKZ are very important for Prowindo. And of course, also with QKE, it's really working out norms and labels, so everything is documented. Okay, so now let's look at the associations as I just introduced them, and every single party that you see here is contributing and is adding an important facet to this very complex value-added chain. So it's really from the beginning to the end, and of course throughout the whole life cycle as well, and it's all covered. So Vinyl Plus, EPPA, PROPA, QKE, Prowindo, SKZ, none of them can be left out. And I would say that for all the different industry players, every association has a different meaning. And of course, you just have to make sure that you are just included in any case. If you can do something for everyone, well, the industry is definitely doing something, for example, for one, or if you're supporting several, that's great as well, because we really do need it. It's very important for us. Okay, so at this point, I would also like to point out that the different associations have excellent websites as well, and I looked at them earlier today, where you can see what they're currently doing. And so again, the websites, visit them and look at the different content that you can find. All right, so now let's look at building and living in the future. So that's a huge topic, obviously. And we just sort of set a framework. We have a decarbonization strategy that we selected that is already ongoing and that was accelerated. And apart from the existing challenges in terms of the climate protection laws and greenhouse neutrality that needs to be accomplished by 2045, of course, the aggression on the part of Russia definitely made this even more challenging for us. And this whole topic is going to be accelerated, I would say. And before the war in Ukraine, we had a German problem or German challenge. Now we have a European or worldwide problem. These topics are very extensive, they're bigger now. And if you want to save energy, and originally that is something that just really came from saving CO2, and this is also a question of energy consumption today. Energy consumption, CO2 is created, and of course, the scarcity of energy definitely makes it even more poignant and important and more critical as well. And of course, the goal that we need to accomplish by 2030 is quite ambitious. So, talking about 67 million cubic tons CO2 if you start at 118 in 2018. Those are enormous numbers. And if you look at the main CO2 consumption, buildings are definitely one of the main drivers. And that is the driver that we need to make more efficient. And of course, windows are a big part of that. Okay, so what kind of role does the whole topic of associations play? And specifically Vinyl Plus really looked into the whole topic of communication. That is what is most important to them, sustainability, and really focusing on that over and over again, and then really making people aware of that, anchoring that in people's consciousness of the decision makers, and of course, along the added chain, all the players that are involved. Of course, that is a huge challenge. Many influence factors do play a role here. However, if you take a holistic approach and you really think about the whole thing, so this is the right point, and we have to actively continue, and we are a contact person. And yeah, the big challenges are definitely to compare everything to a jungle. We have huge challenges just knowing which direction we need to go in. And unfortunately, association and Vinyl Plus are a good point to start. So continuous communication is very important, plays a huge role. And of course, it's also clear that if you look at the different cycles, materials collected, and then they're going to be put back in the value added chain and play a very important role, because once you have a specific definition, that's when you can use it in order to have stable value added chains and be there for them. And of course, we Germans came up with norms, and that's what we're going to do here as well. And I can't even tell you how important it really is, because if you think about production and locations like Germany, it really depends on high product quality so that production can work. And that doesn't only work with norms, material has to be specified and then also documented so there's just a reliable quality. So again, EPPA is working on a European level in order to really have these norm mandates to create norms and characterization of recyclates, etc. And in order to really be able to do that all over Europe, that is very much necessary. And right from the beginning of a product until the end of its life cycle, and also putting it back in the circular economy, you just have to make sure that they're set up in a way that they can be recycled. So we have initiatives that are steered actively throughout Europe with this Circular Plastic Alliance, and we have a focus on materials being put back in the circular economy. And because of that, the primary use is just reduced. And the question is, what kind of contribution does a window make when it comes to climate protection? Well, a very important topic when it comes to windows would be what kind of meaning does a window have in an object in a building? Does it just close a gap in the building body, but it's really just a connecting element? It has to match the facade, it has to protect the building shell, and also has to be integrated in terms of style. So you can cover energy consumption, and if it does, then it also is creating some value. And 25% of energy consumption are because of windows. So if you want to be energy efficient, you have to have good windows. And that's where vinyl windows can close the gap because it allows for the best possibilities to support affordable living. And this is not just a compromise, but this is really just a good basic window, and there are design variances, innovative options to have high performance windows with an attractive design, and therefore there's longevity as well. One thing is also clear, the longer the life cycle is, the better you can use it. And that's why windows with a use of 35 to 40 years are definitely the best option. Now, another point that's extremely important for us as an industry. So on the one hand, we have a reliable virgin material suppliers, and on the other hand, we are also looking at our cities and renovation products that would be urban mining. So material was put in, material is taken out, it's then recycled and put back. And it's very good if the industry is not waiting for politics giving us laws to force us to do something, but them being proactive and just saying, okay, what do we want to do? And that is something that we are doing actively. We have ambitious goals in order to be in line with specific rules and requirements. We want to accomplish goals that we've set ourselves in order to show that things can work without being forced to. And to be quite honest, I have to say that you can say with the introduction of the calcium zinc stabilizers, that was definitely something that we said we were going to do till 2015. We're faster than that. We can also do great with the amounts. So we're on the right track, and we want to stay on that track. And because of that, we are going to keep everything going, and they're going to be in products. So it is very important that when it comes to communication, we have to make sure that it's possible. Among my friends, there are some people, if I tell them what I do for a living, I tell them, okay, I do vinyl windows and they can be recycled 100%. And they say, what? That is possible? I didn't even know that. And this is not people who are uneducated. It's really people who are very knowledgeable, but they don't know that. And that's why all the different initiatives that are actively run by Vinyl Plus, and I can also refer to the current version, which I really love, with strong points. So there's good communication, different facets, and Prowindo is very much active in order to talk to recyclers and include them in the system, because it is our goal definitely to make sure that any window that can be reached needs to be reached and recycled. They're individual players, all of them are important, and in the end, you have great windows that can be reused, and that's really what it's all about. Prowindo is really the partner of choice that is closing this gap, supporting this gap, and further developing it so it can work in the future. And I also am very happy to be able to say that we can do that with 20 years experience. We've been doing this for 20 years. That's a great accomplishment. If you then look around the next page and you see the different volumes, it's definitely a lot that can be accomplished here. So if you just imagine that there are old windows and production waste of 148 tons that can be recycled, that is a lot. And I would say from the post-consumer area, we have a lot as well. So that is amazing. It's a great increase. And of course, those are reliable resources that the industry can use. We have to talk about it though. That is important to me. We have to use social media. We have to share information. We have to make it where people are fascinated, because if there's negative information about plastic waste in the ocean, and just making sure that people know that plastic is a material that needs to be used in the future. And as I said in the beginning, it is important to have a partner that monitors everything and offers possibilities to help us in this industry and just improve. That is the whole topic of the EPDs, and also we're working with associations, QKE, for example, and of course, we also need to have the certification for products today in order to document that whatever we're doing is really grounded and good and not a lie. And as an example, how Prowindo actually brings everything together and executes these activities, that's some insight. In the fall, there's going to be a parliamentary breakfast in Berlin, and we're going to deal with exactly that. We offer a platform to politicians in order to talk to us with impulse speeches and impulses, and we would like to tell politics about current developments and also give them some insights into the next steps and also just show them what we need to do. That way they can make the right decisions. So they need our input. It's about climate protection, renovation rates, and also the meaning of vinyl windows as a sustainable building product. Okay, and with that, this is the end of my presentation, and I am very happy that I was able to enjoy your attention. And I would also like to give you the opportunity to ask questions if you have any. Thank you.